Welcome, leaders, sidekicks, and superheroes. This chapter is Leading High-Stakes Adventures. As you're probably aware, anytime you get people together for a change initiative or a project or even on a grand adventure where there's a lot of people involved, there are going to be some communication issues. In fact, we see that most problems are predictable, and they're predictable because most problems are communication-based. Fisher, Baker, Murphy et al. In their watershed study showed that about 78% of the failure success factors in a project were directly attributable to communication and control items. Now that may seem like a lot, but as you reflect on your own experience, I think you'll agree communication is a very important issue when it comes to project or initiative success. And since that is the case, I'd like for you to look at your project communication issues based on your stakeholder group. We use cross-functional teams in all projects, all initiatives, everything of complexity. And when you look at the people that are involved, you can typically see from where they stand and from where they see your project, well, that's where the problems may well arise. Let me be more clear. For example, in a key stakeholder group, sponsors, for example, a sponsor is the person who gives us that project. They might be a client, they might be our boss, they might be a high-ranking person in a corporate structure or organizational structure. They deliver an idea to us and say, here, I want some of this. Now, the cool thing about sponsors are they have control of resources and they have the power to make things happen and to issue these decrees. But the bad news about project sponsors are they don't always know what's possible. You know, here's a fundamental rule about work. The farther you get away from work, the easier it looks. We, in a project environment, know that most items are, difficult. Nothing's easy anymore. And so when a project sponsor says, I want some of that, they don't know what they're asking. Their optimism may unwittingly be extremely high. Our job with sponsors is to communicate effectively what is involved in detail so that they can see the facts and understand from your point of view why the project takes what it takes. So when you're dealing with communication issues in a sponsor, make sure that you get very careful about how you manage their expectations and how you help them understand what is truly involved with delivering the complex project, technology, or change initiative that you're actually trying to deliver. Another key group to watch out for is your core team. Now, I don't mean watch out for as in you can't trust them, because I hope you can trust your sidekicks like you can trust Rocky Raccoon. But the sidekicks, our core team members, they all have expertise. They've spent years establishing a methodology, an approach, a way of thinking about things. And they're going to bring that focus and that sharpness and that idea to your project, like it or not. It comes part and parcel. Consequently, they're going to look at every project through their lens, as they should. Here's the problem. Everybody is going to want to do the project their way. You see, there's two ways of doing a project. There's my way, and there's the way that establishes the goal and lives within the constraints. And sometimes it's hard for our core team members to lay down their way for the team's way of doing a project. So your major communication issue with core team members is understanding their point of view and helping them understand your other core team members' point of view, and then coalescing that to a commonly held approach, a unified team effort that may or may not be exactly the way I want to do things, but it is the way that we as a team commit to doing things. So that communicating around a unified team approach is the primary responsibility of you, the leader in this organization. Another key group I want you to think about is your extended team. Now, we need these folks. They're spread all over the planet in some cases, in another building, in another time zone, on another continent. But there's something about their skills or ability or knowledge or their data that we need. They are an essential part of our team. We can't be successful without our extended team members. Here's the problem. We need them. They don't necessarily need us. You see, when it boils down to a remote team member saying to themselves, gee, I'm really busy, aren't we all? I've got to make my boss happy, or I've got to make some remote team happy. Who am I going to make happy? I think the answer is pretty clear. Our allegiance is to those people we're closest to. So our communication problem with extended team members is being able to manage them on a time basis, being able to get their input when we need it on a timely basis. It's very easy for extended team members to push back, push us off, or ignore us, purposefully or unpurposefully, the problem is the same. So manage your extended team members' participation with great care. Last but not least, the other core group that I'd like to remind you about are your vendors. I sometimes chuckle when I see organizations that I work with say, you know what, let's hire somebody else to do that. Maybe they can do it better than us, faster than us. But in reality, they've got people and problems just like you do. So anytime we're using vendors to do things, are we buying problems or are we buying solutions? I want you to be very careful with your vendors. Please vet your vendors carefully. You don't know what you're buying, and they're going to have the same problems you are. Boil it all down, communication is 78% of the plus or minus factors for your project or initiative success. Know your stakeholders group and manage their expectations carefully.